Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. I'm going to do a little experiment this evening. I've asked a question basically to Spirit. I've asked them to work with me now while I'm doing this video clip. I've asked this question before, so I'm not too sure how this is going to work. It's purely an experiment. It's a recorded video, I'm not live. So I'm going to see how this goes, and obviously if it doesn't work, then all is well. That's fine. I'm going to try anyhow. Normally, as you know, or many of you who know me, how I work with the question side of things, when I put a question out there for Spirit to answer, to come back with a reply, I normally write this down. As the answers come through, I write down quick notes as to what those answers are, things that relate to the question, and then I put it into a piece of writing which I normally tuck away somewhere and go back to over time, just to refresh my mind really about what they've said. And I use that information sometimes in some of the videos. On Patreon, I actually work with those pieces of writing with you, and I discuss them. I work my way through the writing for you to really have a think about. It's just to trigger a few thoughts in your minds as to how different things happen within the world of spirit, and it's there for a point of thought really for all of us. I mean, not only for you but for me as well, because obviously they give me information that I can work with, I can discuss with you. There's all sorts of things. It's valuable for me, mainly because of the knowledge side of it. There is obviously, like I've mentioned before, I'm lucky in the respect that I do have a knowing. I say lucky, it's not always lucky. It can be quite difficult sometimes to try and explain, although I sit with it and I work my way through the writing, and I obviously try to absorb what they have said. Sometimes trying to put that across can be quite difficult, and it can seem, I guess, for some people a bit long-winded and a bit sometimes too deep to get a grasp of straight away. That's why with the writing, I tend to put it away. I'll go back to it. I'll work with a piece of it. I'll maybe take chunks of that out and work on just a particular part of that at a time, because sometimes it can be quite difficult to understand and get a grasp of, which is understandable in a way. We're quite limited, obviously, with our thought, the way we process things, the way we've been taught over the years. What's been written down and told us is truth. One thing I've discovered that a lot of it isn't. An awful lot of it, when you look at it in a certain way, you understand why it was written. And a lot of it, unfortunately, is simply for control purposes, I guess, especially in the old days, when a lot of religions ruled alongside the kings, in a sense, the kings and the queens, with thou shalt do this and thou shalt do that. And obviously, I guess one way of doing that was to say that this is what God has said, this is what God believes we should do. And in reality, it was more like what the king or queen thinks that what we should do, rather than any God. So anyway, enough waffling on. Like I said, I've put a question out there. The question I've put out there this evening, and like I said, it's one I've worked with before, is based on the process of passing. So the question I put out there was, can you go into a little bit of depth really into that process of passing from one world into the next? Can you just give me some brief description, if you like, from Spirit's point of view, how this works, where we find ourselves, that type of thing. So let's see basically what happens. And as I'm talking to you now, I'm obviously trying to listen, to attune myself to what is being said. So if you just give me a second or two, just while I'll try and focus a little. Thank you. And as the energy draws close to me now, I'm going to start just talking to you with the statements. Thank you. What I'm going to be, or what I'm receiving. Sorry if I get my words mixed up. I'm just trying to listen. Okay, so the process of passing is but a simple one. The travelling between two worlds is one of ease, is one of enlightenment. As you pass, you begin to understand that the wave of love and light and warmth is one which you ride upon with ease, depending upon one's acceptance and knowledge of the process that takes place. Thank you. I kind of understand that. Deep within oneself, the time of passing is known well before the event actually takes place. There is peace within the mind of the understanding of this process, as it is natural to the soul and may have well occurred a number of times along your journey. There will be, without any doubt, a number of loved ones that will be brought forward, that will draw close, sometimes well before the actual passing itself takes place. Please understand that this is a natural, loving event that you all will undertake at some point, without doubt. It is not one that is altered in any way, in any shape, in any form, for an individual, because as the seasons are constant and as constant as our truths will remain, the passing will also be constant in its methods. Okay, can you okay, so basically there, I'm not 100% sure how those words came out, but from the understanding I have is that, in other words, for individual souls, nobody can expect to experience anything any different than any other soul. So it is a constant. It is exactly the same process for all. So there's no change for any individual. It will be the same for all. Okay. There are many who have spoken of near death. You talk of near death experience, and you ask question as to why these are so different, why, if it is constant for all, is it different for so many who experience these near-death processes? You have many different religions and many different belief systems in place that do nothing but confuse, but within one's mind, the belief systems have done nothing but confuse what may happen in the process of death. What you believe now, for many, is what you will see, because it is natural for you during the process of passing to experience what you believe. This, my friends, is your cushion of ease. It is the link between mind and soul and understanding. If you believe the image of who you call God, to be in a certain way, then your understanding of your meeting with this entity will be portrayed before you. This is simply the link between mind and soul playing out before you. Once that link of mind and soul is broken, and you have travelled beyond that point, then reality of truth will stand before you. Break. Thank you. Okay, what I understand from that is that whatever belief system we have in place when we pass, there will be an element of that seen. So we will, if we believe that God has 3 heads, 6 arms, then that is what will be placed before us, because it's a link between, I guess, what we've absorbed throughout our lives, what we've been taught. There's like a link between that and the soul. So it kind of it acts as like a cushioning for us, so that we don't all of a sudden not understand exactly where we are, because we can see this image of a God before us. We kind of take a grasp of the fact we are passing, we are dying, so it makes sense, I guess. So we understand where we are and what we're doing, and it's not until we're beyond that point of passing that we will see spirit world for what it is. That's how I'm kind of understanding that. Please put your own comments on what you believe that may well be trying to describe. Now, I'm trying to put, as best I can, as I sense what is being said to me, I'm trying to put that forward to you as best I can. It might sometimes be mixed up, it might, but I'm just, this is the first time I've done this, so please just bear with me. Normally I'm scribbling down on a piece of paper, so I'm going to try. Okay. Can we please start? Please come forward. Okay, so I understand. Once home, the soul will totally understand its surroundings, for it knows and believes more so than before. It's placed itself within the material body at the beginning of the last journey that it took. Can I break? Okay, I'm a little bit confused with all that personally. I feel that what they're trying to say there, and please correct me if you think completely different, I think what they're trying to say there is that the last journey that you have undertaken, then you should be more enlightened than you was before you started that journey. So in other words, the experience that you've had throughout your last lifetime should have enlightened you to a point where you have an even better understanding now. That's how I get that. That's how I understand it. I'll play this back for me and listen to myself. It sounds a bit daft, but I will do that and try and get a better grasp of that. For many, home for the soul will differ in relation to experience, to knowledge and acceptance. This home may well not be the same as the home your soul once left. Okay. At a point which does differ, but at a point once home, one will see what experience, what knowledge one has gained. Not only seen, but felt. Without doubt, one will know if the soul has truly enlightened itself. For if it hasn't, it knows it may well need to experience again. Any negative, any painful experiences that that have been experienced by this individual soul will be felt, including negative placed upon others. Acceptance of this is of utmost importance. Without acceptance, the soul will need to relearn. If much of what this soul has gained in love, has gained in duty to the energies of which it shared along its journey is also of utmost importance. Your service to others you will have knowledge and understanding of, and you will feel the joy and the love that you have placed upon others. This will feel tenfold, for you now have the capacity to feel the reality of the depth and importance of love itself. This will simply underline for you why you have taken the journey that you have taken. You are now in a place where you can totally absorb and account for every action that you have taken along the way. Most importantly, the actions, be them negative, be them positive, that you placed upon others will replay, and you will experience those actions one by one. Again, understand, acceptance of any wrongdoing is of utmost importance. Understand your progress, your moving on, your absorption of energy from the higher realms will be reflected upon acknowledgement of any wrongdoing, of any pain caused by self. Please understand, any action you now take be it for self, be it for others, whilst you're in the body, will be reflected, will be replayed once you find yourself at home. This is natural and will not differ for any soul. Your passing is as beautiful as your birth. You are simply experiencing birth again. There will be, for you, rebirths in other realms of existence. This is infinite, but to a point. One day, you will be home for good. And that day, the soul will rejoice. I send you all my love. Okay. And just find get my feet back on the ground for a minute. Okay, I'm not sure how much of that's going to make any sense whatsoever. Now I can just post this, and I think I may well just do that. I will replay it to myself once I've reposted it. And there are parts that may well be jumbled, and for that I honestly do apologise. This is just new for me. Not the connection. The connection is certainly not new, but doing it in this way in front of my phone, and like I've said a couple of times before, without boring you too much, I tend to just be scribbling down notes. I will then make sense of it, and sometimes I'll rewrite bits where obviously I've got bits back to front or what have you. But there it is. Okay, a question about passing, what happens to us next into the world, into spirit world. Sorry, the cough does happen sometimes. Yeah, let me know your comments of it. Any questions you'd like to put maybe forward to spirit sometime if you enjoy that and would like to do that. Or do it for you. Why don't you try to put a question out there for spirit and just have some moments on your own. Reach out there, go to your place and just listen, sense what spirit are trying to say to you. It will either come through feeling, it'll either come through that whisper. There are many ways it could come to you, ideas and visions. There are a multitude of ways that spirit will connect and try and answer your question. And sometimes the answers can come in the most peculiar ways. But it's all about learning from spirit. It's all about learning and building that communication with them, your personal communication with spirit. It varies for everyone. There is no rule book. Another statement I've made a million times, which I'm sure you're all getting quite fed up with by now, but there is no rule book for this because it is a personal thing. Your connection with spirit can vary greatly to how someone else connects with spirit. At the end of the day here, what's important is what is said, not how you manage to get that information. If that communication is of love, is from the heart, with positive intent, it does not matter how you find the easiest way to link. It works for you, work with it. That's what's important. So please like and subscribe. Have a lovely evening. Have a listen through that. Take from it what you will. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care for now. Good night.